Hello soulmates, welcome to class. In today's class we'll be learning how to make the trendy two-colored boo-boo. I'm sure you must have seen something like that. I'm going to be making a rough skirt. It looks something like so, and the front has like a V-cut that is connected with a V-neck, and of course it is cowl. It's called a cowl kaftan with outside joining, so the side does not have a joining. So that is where the techniques come in. So for this kind of boo-boo, what we need, the required measurement is our shoulder to sleeve length. Note that this is what will determine the size of this gown. So you need to measure from the mid part of your neck. Let's assume this is the croquis neck, and this is like the sleeve extension. So from here you measure all the way to your shoulder down to probably your elbow, or like 4 or 5 inches after your elbow. That measurement is very important, and I have taken mine and it is 24 inches. So the next thing you want to do is your gown length. Note that this gown can be as long and as short as you want it, so I can't wait to see you experiment with it. So the gown length I'm working with here is 60 inches, and here is it. I've marked it down. So these are the two important measurements that you need. Now down to the fabric and the required materials. For this class I thought to use these two beautiful fabric. They're really soft. It's called the Pantori silk. Some people mistake it for Duchess, but it is not. It has two face. It's really soft, like it's so soft you think it's not stretchy. Can you see? It's really soft. So I thought to pair these two colors together to form something beautiful. So this is what we'll be using. I actually have like 3 yards of each, so all here is 6 yards. And you can also get a long ruler, but I'll be using these two rulers. Of course you need your set of pins and then chalk. So let's jump right into our tutorial. Soulmate, so this is my fabric spread open. The trick behind it is that it should be cut on bias fold. Yes, so for those of you that think it's not going to be cut on bias fold, remember it's a cowl kaftan, so it needs drape, and the only way for it to drape is when you place your fabric on bias fold, just like the way I have done it, like so. Now remember I said take from your shoulder to whatever sleeve length you want, and I actually took 24 inches. So I'm going to measure 25 because of seam. In fact, I'll measure 26 because of seam allowance, and this is where my 26 inches is. So this is going to be the top part, so I'll just adjust it there like so. And what I'll do next is to look at the length and mark. First of all, this is my 26 inches. So what I will do, like I've known where the 26, I'll make it straight. Can you see? I won't go like sideways. You can also go sideways if you want. Like I said, the more you go like the side, if you go side, it's the more drapes you get. So it depends on how many drapes or how you want the drape. So if you make it go sideways, it will drape more. But I choose to make it straight. You can make it sideways if you want, but I just want to make it straight because personally I'm trying to control the drapes. But remember that if you follow the edge of your fabric, see what happens. It will drape down even more for you. Okay, so like I said, I'm controlling my drapes and I'm working with 26 inches. So I'll actually follow that way, but I would not mark it too I want it straight. Okay, now what happens is when you make it also straight, it aligns where the hemline. So remember, from this sharp point here, that is where you'll be making your 26 inches mark. So I'm just going to put 2 marks there because I'm trying to observe it. I just want 2 marks, so I'm putting my 2 marks there. So now that I have the 2 marks, from here I would measure my 60 inches straight, because this part that is straight becomes my shoulder line. That is why you need to mark it straight, because that becomes your shoulder line, and if you don't mark it straight, it might not align. So what I will do is I'll measure my 60 inches. I will add like 1 inch seam allowance to it. Remember that this down part can be as wide as you want, but at the same time we're trying to control the fullness of the hem. So before we go further, I want to be able to move this I want to be able to move the fabric. So what I will do is I'll pin it, and then after pinning I would let you know what to do next. Alright, so I've marked the down part. Remember to make your lines straight, and here, like I said, it's 60 inches. You can see that is the reason why you need to mark that part straight, so that you can get a straight line, you know. So I added 1 inch to it for seam allowance. Of course, this is cut on flat, you know, so I'm going to cut it out now and show you what it looks like. Then we'll be folding the second fabric together, and then we'll cut. Now, in case you want to know how many yards you've used for this, you can actually do 60 divided by 36, so that you can know the number of yardage you've used. So I'll be cutting this, and when I'm done I'll show you, and then we'll proceed to place it on the other color of fabric. Okay, soulmate, so before we start our neckline alteration and every other thing, this is what you should have first. So I'm going to place it and cut the second one. Then when we have the two pieces together, we can start our neckline alteration, our facing. Note that you can control the hem width from here. You can make it as small as you want, you can make it as wide as you want, but I want you to be intentional about the hem width because it needs to be smaller to give you a very nice shape. So I'm going to place this other fabric on bias and place this one on it and just cut out the same thing. So the first one you're cutting is very important. Pay close attention to it, because of course you use it to cut the second one. So if you don't cut this well, that means you won't be cutting the other one well as well. Okay, soulmate, so I'm done transferring the first pattern to this fabric. So what you want to do is to cut out. It is really easy after you've gotten the first one. So I'll be cutting it out now before we do further alteration on this fabric. Okay, soulmates, this is the top part. Remember, this is the side that would not have seam. Is the seams will just be on the center front and the center back. Now the neck width varies, like it depends on you. I like to use the neck width 7 because we'll be joining ½ inch on the shoulder, so we'll be left with, you can even do 7.5, because if you join ½ inch on the shoulder, you will be left with 7. If you do 6.5 and you join ½ inch on the shoulder, you'll be left with 6 inches. Okay, now the width is the important thing. If I do 3.5 and I join ½ inch, it means the width is 4 inches wide. So the secret behind necklines is, if it's longer, it should not be wider. If it's wider, it shouldn't be long. So already we have something long. So I'm going to be doing 3. So by the time I sew the 3, it will be 3.5 inches wide. You need it wide because you'll be wearing, you know, just so that it will be easy to wear, you know. So this is the front that I'm marking like so, this wide. Now for the back, we can now make the back 3 by 1 or 1.5, you know, by the time we sew, you know. So I will just mark it this way. Now the thing about this is, most of the times people like to finish sewing the whole thing before you take out the neckline, because of the way the gown is, you know, so that you don't miss it. I would actually prefer to finish joining the side front or the center front and center back, press open my seams, then I'll come back to the table, lay it open, then draw out my neckline and also the neckline facing. That is easy, so you don't go about and make any mistakes around your neckline and you're like, oh, if I had known. So I'm going to leave that here. Another thing you need to note is the width. Remember, we measured 24, so this is the 24. I added 1 inch to make it 25. Now the width of your opening of the armhole, like your hand, where you put your hand, is coming from this upper part, not from the side, so that by the time your hand is here and you put your hand down, it drapes down for you. So you can do 6 inches is fine, 6 inches is very okay, or 7. So if you're doing 6 or 7, you mark it this way. Note that after we've joined from our neck width to this part, this side will be joined round. So what I will do here is just to notch it. Remember I said I'm not cutting my neck line yet until I'm done joining. So I'm going to be showing you all the necessary alterations. Okay, so click on the subscribe buttons, and then for more interesting videos. Now we'll be going down to the length of this gown. So this is the length. As you all know that it has like the X shape. Just like I said, I would like to finish joining so that I can give it the desired shape. But for those of you that might not want to wait to finish joining, you can come up by 10 inches from the hem line, mark it, and then it will be curvy, kind of, not like straight. Remember, it's going to be only on the center front, and the reason why this is there is for ease of movement. So you can make it higher, because 10 is not the only. You can even take it high up to 15 inches, because this gown is as long as like to the floor. So you can make it 15 inches, you can make it 16 inches, as much. The more you cut this, you know, the smaller the hem and the finer it is. So I'll go to the sewing machine now. I will join one front, one back, you know, like so, and then I'll press it open and show you what to do next. Okay guys, so we've sewn the sides. You can see when I say sew the sides, so these sides will be the center back and the center front. Okay, so what I did next is to press open the seams. Now this is the seam pressed open. You can also serge it. You can serge the edges, you know, if you like. So the next thing we'll do is to cut the neckline. But before then, I have already cut this down part. Remember I told you I was going to trim off the down. So this is the hem. I minused 20 inches. So you can just arrange it this way. Mark from the hem to 20 inches and make sure you curve it out like so. Okay, now it's time for us to do the front. Okay, so this is me trying to form my front neckline, and remember where I have my notch for the sleeve initially, I pinned it down, you know, I just pinned it down. So what we'll do here is to form or cut our neckline. Remember I said 7 inches, but I'm looking at my 7 inches that is too small, so I'll make it 8, and then 7 inches by 3. You can do 3.5 if you want the neckline to be wide. It depends on you. You can do 3, you know, but if I do 3, well, by the time I'm sewing it in, it will be 3.5 inches. So I'm going to mark this 3.5 inches. You can decide to give it any neckline of your choice, V-neck, you know, rounded like so. So what I'll do is cut. When you're cutting, make sure you hold the two sides, because this is a satin fabric. So the two sides, it's how will I call it? The fabric is shaky, so you need to hold the two sides together so that you'll be sure that you're cutting directly on the center front. So I'm cutting inside my chalk and I'll cut it out this way. So the front is cut already. Now it's time for us to cut the back neckline. So remember the same thing, 3 by 1. So if you're not too sure of the back neckline, you can actually place this front that you cut out on it. Make sure it's closed on fold like so, and place it down. Can you see? So what you do next is, when you place it down, you mark. So you have to mark, or if you can't mark, you can notch it so that you follow that line, just to be sure that it is equal. So what you do is to notch down and then mark the desired seam along your desired neck depth. I prefer 1.5 so that the back can come down a bit, and then I would just curve it down like so. So we have our back cut out this way, so I'll cut it out. Make sure again you held, like you held these two sides together. Make sure you hold it, and then you cut it out. So what we'll do now, we're almost there. I know some of you might be saying, oh, this gown is really easy to make. Yes, it is. If you don't want to take your time, it might be a little bit stressful. So what we'll do this way Oh, sorry, I mean if you don't take your time, it will not come out really nice for you. So this is what I'm doing now, trying to match it up. I'm putting the center front together and I'll pin it down. I just want to check my neck depth. Can you see? So you do the same thing here and pin down. So you can pin it all the way down. Remember, we have our notch for the sleeve too here. So you'll be matching your notches and while you pin down to be sure that it is correct. Okay, so I'm just going to pin down my notch. All this I'm doing is actually to cross check my gown to be sure that it is very okay. So I'm pinning down this part as well. Now that I have it all pinned down, I can now check my neckline. I think I like it this way, but if you want yours to be deeper, you can still come down more. It is okay. So what I will do now is go to the sewing machine. This is the right side. I just purposely did this to the right side to check. I'll go to the sewing machine and sew from here to where I have my notch. I'll do the same thing from here to where I have my notch, and when I'm done, I'll tuck it in. When you sew down, notch it so that you can double fold like this and like this, or you can do it one time. If you can even run your overlock, like overlock this side, you can just fold it once and sew it round, so it's easy for you to put your hands out, you know. And also I'll be sewing the hem that I already cut out, and then I will show you what it looks like when I'm done. Alright, so we're ready. Our dress is all set. As you can see, I actually piped this place. The way I should ask you to turn it, can you see? So that's the same thing I did here. So for the neckline, I actually did a facing to it. So how did you attach the facing? Put another fabric on folding toe to hold your neckline this way, place on it, and then trace out the neck as you wish. Okay, then you cut it back and sew it back. So I left the raw edges because I'll be serging it later off camera, but the dress is ready. I'll place it on the dress form, and for the hemline, this is it. You know, you have to use the color of thread for each side, so I have to turn it too as well. So I'll place it on the dress form so that you see what we've been working on. Alright, so this is our dress. As you can see, the drapes and everything has formed. I would like to show you the side. You can see the side here. You see that it has formed the side cowl, and it's actually falling down because of it was cut on bias. So this is the hemline, just for ease of movement. If you like if you don't want it this wide, you can actually experiment with it and probably hold it down in a bit, but I think it's okay this way. I'm just saying. And the 20 inches is actually high, you can see, so there's ease of movement, and this came out really beautiful. So mates, I hope you practice this, and don't forget to blend beautiful colors, even more beautiful than what I have here. I'll be seeing you in our next class. Don't forget to subscribe and turn on notifications. Bye.